आदि पाशता देशतारिणी जय ओ श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Good evening, dear devotees. Today we are going to learn Ananya Bhakti. Ananya Bhakti. Hello.
Mataji,
am I audible?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Hare.
Today we are going to learn Ananya Bhakti. Last week also we did Bhakti, but this week we are going to do Ananya Bhakti, which means direct Bhakti. Direct Bhakti means it's a pure Bhakti without any deviation, without any material profit, which will lead us to the spiritual planet. How can we practice this Bhakti? We can take an example. Let's consider we are going to offer something to a person. Let's consider Krishna is a person. How do we offer something to a person? We consider that the person is, we are giving this to the person as a duty, and we are slightly happy since we have done our duty properly. Next, let us consider we are going to offer something or give something to one of our friends. So when we are giving to one of our friends, how do we feel? We feel very happy because one of our friend is going to get benefited here. Next, let us think Krishna is our only friend. He is our best friend. He is our dearest friend. So how will we give him? We are going to give him only the best. We are going to search for the best. We will search which he will desire, which he will like. We will think whether we are going to give him the gift which he will love. And we are going to get so much emotion. We will be thinking more about what we are going to give him. So we have to practice this bhakti such that we will think him as he is our only friend.
Will Krishna be a best friend, and how?
Yes, definitely. Krishna delivers the most confidential knowledge in chapter 9 to Arjuna, where he says, if we offer a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or some water to Krishna, he will accept it. So, which we can see in Sloka chapter 9, verse 26. Patram pushpam palam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti upahritam asnami prayatatmanaha. Asnami means I will accept whatever you give. Either it is a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or some water. Whatever you give, I am going to accept it because it is being given with complete devotion. Now you can see a picture on the top where Krishna is holding some fruits and a Mataji is sitting next to him with a basket of jewels. This is a story from Srimad Bhagavatam where this Mataji who is sitting here is a fruit vendor. She's selling fruits on the roads of Vrindavana. Looking at the fruit vendor, Krishna rushes towards her. So he is planning to give her back few grains as exchange for collecting these fruits. Okay, so when he rushes towards her, he misses all the grains from his hand, and when he reached Mataji, he could see only few grains left in his hand. Okay, so Mataji looks at this baby who is running to her for the fruits, and he is so sincere that he want to repay something to her. So she started loving the child, and she is giving all the fruits that she has with her in the basket. Krishna accepts everything. He cannot hold, even then he is accepting everything. And after accepting all the fruits, when Mataji looked into the basket, she could find her basket was filled with valuable jewels and stone. This statement is telling us the moral. One who worship Krishna with exclusive devotion, meditating on the transcendental form to them, Krishna will carry what they lack and preserve what they have. Mataji? Yes. So this is called as the initiation of bhakti. Here, when we give to Krishna with love, we are actually starting the spiritual path. We are actually starting the spiritual path. This is called as Shraddha. Next, we have to associate with devotees. This association with devotees is called as Sadhu Sangha. So here, when we associate with devotees, we understand many practices, many good habits which we have to practice every time. That is like eat only prasadam, make your diet sattvic, fast from grains. On for every ekadashi, you will have to follow 4 regulative principles. You have to visit the temple frequently. This is also explained in Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 verse 13. यज्ञशिष्टाशेन शान्तो मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्पिषै भुञ्चते ते त्वगं पापा ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात्. Where it says one who eats prasadam all the time is actually eating a food which is free from all the sins. Okay, so after this, we are actually we are diminishing all the unwanted habits, which is called as anartha nivritti. Followed by this, we get a firm faith. We are practicing this, so we get firm faith. Once we develop the firm faith, we naturally develop a taste, ruchi. This makes us so attached, our Shakti, towards Krishna. Hence, we develop an emotion and affection to Krishna. We start loving him. This is called as Bhava and Prema stage of 9 different types of stages, which is mentioned in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 23, verse 14-15. Bhava and Prema is the last stage where we show the love and affection to the God. That is the final stage where we final stage of the 9 different stages of bhakti.
When I hear these 2 stages, Prema and Bhava, I remember reading a story of Srila Haridas Thakur and the snake. The anecdote is the love between Sri Krishna and Sri Haridas Thakur, very epitome of Ananya Bhakti and the true meaning of dedication, determination, and devotion. First of all, my humble pranams to him and to all the acharyas for giving this inexplicable feeling and making me narrate one of the many nectars from the life of Srila Haridas Thakur, who is the standing tall as lighthouse for all who wants to fully devote their life in Krishna Bhakti. I can endlessly talk about Srila Haridas Bhakti, but time limit. This is a proof demonstrating the love of Krishna to Srila Haridas Thakur and the power of Maha Mantra. Extracted from Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela chapter 3, Glories of Haridas Thakur. Srila Haridas Thakur chanted 3 lakh times a day as he vowed to Krishna to chant 1 million Maha Mantra. The cave in which he chanted is also the home of a deadly snake emitting poisonous hair that made the Brahmanas coming to visit him very difficult to breathe. They could not be there even for a moment. But for Srila Haridas Thakur, he never felt any such experience. People came together and told him to come out of the cave. He said, I have never been inconvenient chanting here, but if it is the will of Krishna and the people living here, I shall leave tomorrow. He said, if it is true that a snake lives here, either snake or I shall leave the cave by evening tomorrow. He tells the people not to waste time talking about it, but to use all their energies in spreading Krishna consciousness, in reading books and chanting Maha Mantra. In due course, a miracle happened. While the people were talking to him, a huge, effulgent, colorful snake with frightening appearance slithered out of the hole and left the cave forever. As the snake passed through them, all the people took the shelter under Krishna. The cave, which was engulfed with venomous air, also became very, very pure. This was because the people all very well knew that it is only because of chanting of Mahamantra by powerful devotee Srila Haridas Thakur that the snake left. Simply the sight of Srila Haridas Thakur, very dear to Krishna, dissipates one innate nescience and material entanglement. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. That was very much informative, and we also understood the power of chanting. Thank you so much for sharing that story. Let's see few reference slokas from Bhagavad Gita for Ananya Bhakti, chapter 11, 5-4. Bhaktya tvananyaya sakya aham evam vidorjuna jnatum drashtum cha tatvena praveshtum cha parantapa. Ananyaya means free from all the speculative knowledge and mixed with fruitive activities. Undivided devotional service. Jnatum means to know. Drashtum means to see. So only who is following the undivided devotional service can see or can know about Krishna in his two-handed or four-handed form, as how Arjuna can see, because he was ananyaya. He was without being mixed with fruitive activities or speculative knowledge. Only in this way we can enter into the mysteries of Krishna. Chapter 14, verse 26 says, Mam cha yo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Avyabhicharena means without fail, who is doing bhakti yogena sevate, who is going to do the devotional service without fail. This person will be elevated to the stage of Brahman. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. This person is going to be elevated to the state of Brahman. Now let's move on to chapter 18, where we have slokas related to Ananya Bhakti. Manmana bhava mat bhakto matyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishasi satyam te pratijani priyosi me. This sloka is actually similar to sloka number 9.34, chapter 9, verse 34, where Krishna says, Manmana bhava mat bhakto matyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishasi yuktvavam atmanam mat parayanaha. Here Krishna says, engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances unto me. Worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. But in chapter 18.65, there is a small difference in that sloka where it says, Satyam te, that is truly you will come to me. I promise. Pratijane means I promise. Priyosimi means you're my loved, beloved friend. You're my dear friend. So definitely you will come to me. So one who is the dearest friend of Krishna will definitely go to Krishna. That is what is stated in 18.65. Next we will move on to 18.6, is the most famous sloka. Sarva dharman parityakya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. One who is devoting, completely surrendering on to Krishna, he is been released from all his papas and he is been given moksha. That is been mentioned in this sloka. Mamekam sharanam vraja. You just surrender on to Krishna. You forget about everything. Just surrender unto Krishna. He will relieve you from all the papas. Sarva papebhyo. Moksha ishyami. You will be given moksha without any doubt. So don't worry. This is the explanation of sloka number 18.66. Now let's see a video of our bona fide spiritual master. Yes, I think there is some.
No,
yeah.
Mataji
Yes,
sharing the sound.
Yeah. Okay.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there is a story not story, fact. It is described there that one Brahmin, he was a great devotee. He wanted to offer very brilliant service archan in the temple worship, but he had no money. But someday he was sitting in a Bhagavad class and he heard that Krishna can be worshipped even within the mind. So he took this opportunity because he was thinking since a long time how to worship Krishna very gorgeously, but he had no money. So he, when he got this point that one can be worship Krishna within the mind, so after taking bath in the Godavari river, he was sitting underneath a tree and within his mind he was constructing very gorgeous singhasan throne bedecked with jewels, and keeping the deity on the throne, he was bathing the deity with water of Ganges, Jamuna, Godavari, Narmada, Kaveri. Then he was dressing the deity very nicely, then offering worship with flower, garland. Then he was cooking very nicely, and he was cooking parmanna, sweet rice. So he wanted to taste it, whether it is very hot. Because parmanna is taken cold. Parmanna is not taken very hot. So he put his finger on the parmanna and his finger burned down. Then his meditation broken. Because there was nothing, he was simply within the mind, he was doing everything. But he saw that his finger is burned. So he was astonished. In this way, Narayan from Vaikuntha, he was smiling. Lakshmiji asked, why you are smiling? Then one of my devotee is worshipping like this, so send my men to bring him immediately to Vaikuntha. So the Bhakti Yoga is so nice that even if you have no means to offer the deity, gorgeous worship, you can do it within the mind. That is also possible.
So let's conclude by reciting a sloka from Brahma Samhita, where the meaning of the sloka says, I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas, but obtainable by pure unalloyed devotion of soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, is without a beginning, whose form is endless, who is the beginning and the eternal Purusha, yet he is a person possessing the beauty of blooming youth. Advaitam achyutam anadim anantarupam adyam purana purusham navayauvanam cha vedeshu durlabham adurlabham atma bhaktau govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Tat Satiti Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yes, I can say with firm conviction that this was the best presentation so far from your
Thank
group.
you, Prabhuji.
And
Thank you, Prabhuji.
as you know that this was the last round, it was really impressive. The suggestions which you gave which I gave were all implemented. I could see that. Like how last time I said you were going with sloka wise, But now, as you now where you were explaining the topic and then you are taking slokas for the reference, this one I liked. Plus we told about examples, so that example, that story of Srila Haridas Thakur, that was also very nice. So all
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was a group work. We were helped by, I was helped by all my group members. We all worked together, and the presentation also was, I was not much confident. They all were supporting me, encouraging me all the time. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was, the credit goes to our entire group. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
yes, their encouragement has also helped you. I could see that.
Yes,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji, main thing to Mr. Giridhar Prabhu, he had helped us a lot. Every time he helps us, but then this time he came out, like, he came out of his shell and he spoke out. He read the story. So, and the credit, most of the credit goes to him also. And as usual, Supriya Mataji for her exemplary.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. So this was the last, and you, what all I thought that I really thought that this time you will do it. From inside, I was getting that kind of feeling before the presentation only. But yes,
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
it was
Thank you so much.
really good. And now talking about the questions. Yes. Okay. Now see, now as you said, Ananya Bhakti means undeviated, like unmotivated, uninterrupted. All it is very, very pure and sublime. Now you are talking about such a stage. Now everyone, like if you see ordinary people, they can't reach to such stage directly. So now how do we come to this platform?
Prabhuji, do you want me to answer, Prabhuji?
Like
Yes.
let's see.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah,
No,
you
let her answer first. Let her answer first, and then you, because she presented, no?
Okay, Mataji. Yes, I will answer. Prabhuji, what I feel is first we offer, we become his friend and all that. So now we started loving him. We started doing a few things for Krishna. So slowly we are developing our devotion towards our affection towards Krishna. And whatever we do, we are doing it for Krishna. Always we start our day praying to Krishna, attending Mangalarti, chanting and all that. So we are always thinking about Krishna all the time. So slowly we start getting this attachment. I feel after this stage, then we have to read the books, different books we have, so that we can increase our knowledge. Once we read more about this, for example, I am saying, than reading Bhagavad Gita book, if you read Krishna book, there are so many small stories which give the devotee a great interest to know more about Krishna's pastimes, and they start loving Krishna more. Then they can also read Bhagavad Gita side by side. Then that will be that will be more encouraging for them, that Krishna book is very nice to read, all different stories. So after that, if they are also parallelly reading Bhagavad Gita, they will definitely get more about that is what I feel, Prabhuji.
Okay. Supriya Mataji, you can go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. What I basically feel is, if I have to put what Mataji just said all and put together, the formula to reach the Ananya Bhakti, we basically go small step by step. So as mentioned earlier, we need to follow the ABCDE of the ladder, where we start with association of devotees. B is reading for books, C is chanting, and then D is the diet that we offer, or and then E is entering into the temples or making our house itself is a Krishna conscious center. So if we follow these small steps, slowly and gradually we evolve ourselves from bhakti yoga, and then we move towards the Ananya Bhakti.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Now, we'll just limit ourselves to 2 responses for now. Yeah. So as you all mentioned, as you both mentioned, it was perfectly right. But and Archana Mataji, I would just like to add something to your response. That see, firstly, you have to do the sadhana, to the proper sadhana. Then you can have a kind of loving, like Krishna as a friend or an intimate relationship. So first step is the following of the rules and regulations, and then comes the accepting Krishna as a friend, and that intimacy that comes slowly after. That
Okay.
is a yes.
Okay, Prabhu.
Yes. Now again, now apart from the examples you have given in the slides, I would also want to know more examples, and if you could give examples of grihasthas who are there in the platform of Ananya Bhakti.
Yes, like can grihasthas be also in Ananya Bhakti? Or only the sannyasis? Most of the time when we say Ananya Bhakti, it is mostly like, we have to leave everything and we have to go for the forest and just meditate on the Lord. Everything should be left. So is there any answer?
Last week, when we were discussing about the same grihasthas and who is fully renounced, we saw an example of Arjuna also. Arjuna, though he is Kshatriya, he did not leave up all his duty, but Krishna mentions he is Ananyaya. So he is a pure devotee of Krishna. He is the best friend of Krishna. So I can say Arjuna is the best example.
Okay, because you said that 18.66 Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam
Parityajya,
Sharanam.
yeah.
Yes, leave everything and surrender unto me. Okay,
Yes.
fine. It is in Dwapar Yuga. Any Kali Yuga persons can, because we are in Kali Yuga, no?
Yeah.
We are so fallen.
Prabhupada? Can I say Prabhupada as example?
No, because he renounced.
Yeah, he renounced. Yeah.
We
Anyone?
could say for the period of time he was grihastha, that time we could say. But
Yeah, he could say, but then he advanced like most of the time.
Okay.
Yes.
Prabhuji, Vinoda Thakur and
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
remember.
Bhakti Vinod Thakur.
and
Yeah.
then you have then the example I mentioned, Jagai Madai, one of the characters in that. Who is it? Nityanand Prabhu. He is also
Nityanand.
Yes. But Nityananda Prabhu is an exception because he is the incarnation of Balaram. But as far as Bhakti Vinod Thakur, we can tell that because only past 200 or 300 years.
Yes, yeah, that would be very modern example.
Yes.
Plus, if you see, he was like a district magistrate also. So yeah, that role can be also seen in today's life also. So therefore, it's like a kind of modern example.
And in ISKCON, 90%, like 80 to 90% are grihasthas itself.
Yeah. Yes, Mataji.
Yes. Now I want to know how much like minimum time is required to reach Ananya Bhakti.
No time
person-
limit.
Yeah, it is different for different people, Prabhuji.
Yeah, but minimum, I'm saying.
It can happen in a fraction of a second, the moment that connection develops, or the moment you surrender completely with that faith and with that conviction. I think it is instant. You don't have to travel so far.
Yes, that's the correct answer. Even from the video you showed, I got this question. Srila Prabhupada says that in one moment you can take the shelter of Krishna. You can surrender unto Krishna. You just have to follow follow that shloka. Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. Just surrender unto Krishna, and that takes only one moment. If you are so sincere and so serious, then it will only take one moment. That's what he mentions. So that's how And that's what this question arised in my mind. Now, yes, I think now we have covered most of the questions. So let's move on to the next one.
Yes, Prabhu. Ashwin Prabhuji.
Yes, Chandrasekhar Prabhu will be presenting.
Whoever is presenting, please
Yes,
request.
Chandrasekhar Prabhu and Anuradha Mataji.
Please raise your hand. Chandrasekhar Prabhuji and Anuradha Mataji. Yes, I have made them co-hosts.
Which is the topic, Prabhu?
Work in what is it? Work in devotion versus renunciation.
Renunciation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Is the slide visible?
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Just one second, I'll go to slideshow.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, if possible, can you please come on the camera video?
Yeah, sure.
Hare Krishna.
And please fill up the attendance form. I'm telling it again and again. Yes, Prabhu, continue.
So our team will be presenting today. The topic is renunciation of work versus work in devotion. This presentation deck was prepared by every member of the team. There is a lot of contribution by each members. However, this presentation will be made by me and Anuradha Mataji, and together we will explain the topic. Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Prabhuji and Mataji. I will start with the invocation mantra. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnana Jnana Salakya Chakshur Unmilitan Yena Tasme Shri Gurue Namah. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadatrikam. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Itanamane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Hare Krishna, Krishna Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
So Hare Krishna to all the devotees of ISKCON Mangaluru. Our sincere thanks to Namanish Das Prabhuji for giving us the opportunity to present this topic. The list of group members is also mentioned below. These are the verses that have been referred as to prepare this topic. So the first, we begin this topic with a reference to the question of Arjuna to Sri Krishna in chapter 5. Mataji.
Arjuna Vacha Sannyasam Karmana Krishna Punaryogam cha samshasi Yashreya etayorekam Tanme bruhi sunishchitam.
The translation, first of all, you ask me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work in devotion. Now, will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial? This is the challenge that Arjuna was facing, and he asked this question to Sri Krishna. I am sure each one of us, since we started learning Gita from the Gita in 18 days, I'm sure we have heard a lot of the guidance from our teachers on the need to achieve transcendental devotion. And this is a question that a lot of us will also have. And just in the previous presentation as well, there was a question on whether a grihastha can achieve ananya bhakti. So this is a question that rides on a lot of our minds, and so we will discuss this topic in detail during this presentation. So this is actually a depiction, a chart of our journey from ignorance to full Krishna consciousness. Many of us in this world are actually in the state of ignorance. We work under the influence of material modes of nature, entangled with material desires and sense gratification. And although we may not realize it, but it is the cause and result mindset. How do we then overcome this ignorance? Sorry. So the first stage is actually to develop a higher taste by engaging the senses in Krishna consciousness. One of the key significant examples from recent past is Thakur Haridas, who used to chant nearly 192 rounds of Mahamantra every day, and this developed in him a resistance to temptations of the material nature, and it also enabled him to even resist other people, non-devotees, and people who actually came in contact with him became his followers and became Krishna devotees. So that is the power of developing a higher taste. The second stage after developing this higher taste is the devotional service. And all of us are familiar with the story of Prithu Maharaj or Prahlad Maharaj. And again, they were people who built their devotional service, and which is done for Vishnu, and it liberates from work bondages. As we progress to grow in Krishna consciousness, the next stage is actually work in devotion. And here, the best example is from the Ramayana, which all of us are familiar with, is the Vanar Sena, or the army of monkeys, who actually built a bridge for Lord Sri Ram, and that was a work in devotion. And that is something that we can adopt in our own lives as well. The next stage of higher level of consciousness is achieving no desire for the fruits of activities, which is really reflects being full of Krishna consciousness and free from the dualities. A significant example here is actually of Lord Hanuman himself from the Ramayana. And one of the interesting situations from Ramayana was when Ram and Sita came back to Ayodhya after return from the battle, and they were giving gifts to people who participated and helped them in overcoming the challenges. Sita Mata gave a necklace of pearls to Lord Hanuman, but what did Hanumanji do? He actually started breaking the pearls to see if there was a name of Ram in any of them, and that reflects the higher state of Krishna consciousness. And the final level is actually becoming a tyagi, a true renouncer, who relinquishes all fruits of actions, become a yukta vairagya. And maybe we can consider the 4 Kumaras, who even at a very young age decided that they want to dedicate their lives to Krishna. And that is the highest level of renunciation that we should aspire to achieve. And this is the journey from from being full of ignorance to achieving being full of Krishna consciousness. Now let's see how we can, as living beings on this earth, what is it that we should be doing to go on this path. The first is really the reality check for us and in our situation in this world. Mataji?
Yeah. Nahi kaschit kshanam api jatu tishtya karma krit karyate yavasa karma sarva prakriti jere gune.
So what is the reality for all of us? Ask yourselves, how do we escape from the miseries of the cycle of birth and death? It is not a question of embodied life, but it is nature of the soul to be always active. As such, the spirit soul has to be engaged in the good work of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, it will be engaged in occupations dictated by the illusory energy. So Krishna gives the solution in Bhagavad Gita for us to face the challenges of this world. Mataji?
Karmajam buddhi yukta hi phalam tyakta manisina janma bandhan vinirmukta padam gachanti anamayam.
So Krishna invites us to engage in devotional service to the Lord, which will free us from the results of work, free us from the cycle of birth and death, and attain the state beyond all miseries. So let's get deeper into this in terms of what are the tactical steps that we need to take to drive on this journey. So let us start with a definition of renunciation. But before we jump into the definition of renunciation, we want to also look at what is happening around us, which is actually pseudo-renunciation. There are people who decide to contemplate and resign or leave their jobs or their prescribed duties to become a monk. But they still have material desires, and they use this Baba mode or the Baba culture to fulfill their material desires and mocking people. Whereas at the same time, on the other hand, there are, of course, people who even quit smoking and other material engagement in other material activities when they come in contact with Krishna devotees. So now, that is explanation of what we see around in this Kali Yuga of pseudo renunciation, which is a big diversion and creates a wrong example for people to adopt. Now let's look at what is the definition of renunciation as per Gita 18.2.
Kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam kaveyo vidu sarva karma phala tyagam rahustyagam vichakshana.
Sannyasa is a renunciation of material desire in action, and Tyaga is renunciation of the fruits of action. Let us see a more detailed explanation of the differences between sannyasa and Tyaga. Mataji.
Sannyasa tu mahabaho dukkham aptam ayogata yoga yukta munir brahma nachirena digacchati.
So sannyasa has a long purificatory process, while the devotional chanting can be embraced quickly in the Tyaga process. The risk of falling back to material desires is very high in the sannyasa process, while the Tyaga process is always spiritually progressive. Happiness and engagement are strictly curbed in the sannyasa process, while in the Tyaga senses are engaged in multi-devotional service. So this is Krishna's. Yeah, please go ahead, Mataji.
Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyad anna sambhava yajnat bhavati parjanyo yajna karma samudbhava.
So Krishna says, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way you will always remain unattached and free from bondage. Now let's look at a renunciation of work. What are some of the important considerations that come and that we need to be considering, that we need to be acknowledging for the prescribed duties? Mataji.
So, Annat bhavanti bhutani, I have read out that, Prabhuji. The next one is for the health and wellness.
Okay.
Niyatam kuru karmatvam karmajayoya karmana shariryatrapi chatena prasidhye akarmana.
The prescribed duties is our yagna or sacrifice to the Lord, and we should perform our duties to be the best version of ourselves. And the physical and mental health can be maintained by performing prescribed duty. And the idle mind is devil's workshop, so it is very important to continue to perform our prescribed duties to maintain our physical body. Then we look at role modeling, which is an important aspect for each of us as we lead our own families.
Karmaneva hi samsidam ashtita janakadaya loka sangraham evapi samsayam kartum arhasi.
Krishna says, gives the example of Krishna of King Janaka, and he says that even though he was a renunciate, he continued to perfectly perform all his prescribed duties. And this was done in order to educate the people, and so that they should continue to perform their work. The same applies to all of us, as we are the role models for our children or our families, and how and they would follow in our footsteps. Now let's look at the work in devotion and some key considerations for this as well.
Yajnartat karmano nyatra loko yam karma bandhana tadhartam karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara.
One who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme Lord, is unaffected by sinful action, just as the lotus leaf is untouched by water.
Yoga yukta vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriya sarva bhutatma bhutatma kurvan api na lipyate.
One who works in devotion is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. And that is a significant aspect that helps all devotees to come together and enhance each other's Krishna consciousness. So what does all this mean to each one of us? What do we choose? Which path do we choose for us? Now, this is something that Krishna provides the guidance and the instruction.
Sannyasa karma yogascha nishreyakara vubhu tayostu karma sannyasat karma yogo vishishyate.
So the Lord gives us the instruction: wake up and fight. get rid of bondages, and fight with full Krishna consciousness. So let us together commit to lead a happy and successful life by performing work in devotion. Thank you. Hare Krishna. That ends our presentation.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Heth Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Just one thing I have is that, see, here in the sloka it's mentioned the enunciation of work and work in devotion both are good for liberation. So the thing is that a little you have become, you have explained, like you have, work in renunciation, you should not have written, not recommended. You could have written that it is, that you could have written work in devotion is better than work renunciation of work, but you can't completely say not recommended.
That's fair feedback. Yes, agreed. Yes.
Yes, so that's one point I had to suggest. Anyways, it's fine, no problem. But I got one question. Now, as you said, we have to work in devotion. Now, usually we have so much work, like we have a household work, then we have our office work, and usually modern people. Now, how, like you are saying, work in devotion. Now, how do we make our worship?
Yeah, so I would like to actually give an example. This is not my example. This is something that Gaur Gopal Das, actually an ISKCON devotee and speaker, gave a very nice example on the YouTube video. So he was at an airport, and the security actually asked him, saying, Guruji, you have to give us some advice. And so to them he said, who do you pray every day? And so they said, so the security man said, I pray to Lord Hanuman in the morning before coming to work. So he said, every time you do a security check, you in your mind put a flower at the feet of Lord Hanuman. And so every time you are actually doing a security check, you are also praying to the Lord in your mind. And so that is a very simple example of what it would mean in terms of doing devotion in our daily life. Another example I would like to give is something that is a story given by Krishna himself to Narada, when he tells Narada he sends Narada to a farmer, saying he's the best devotee for me. And Narada is very surprised, and he goes to that farm, and he sees that the farmer in the morning, when he wakes up, he actually prays to the Lord, and then he goes to the field, and he continuously works. And Narada questions, saying, why is it that you think he's the best devotee? And then Krishna explains that he has to survive with and it is very difficult conditions that he is working in, but he still makes it a point that in the morning, the first thing he does, even before he starts work, he prays to the Lord and dedicates the day to him.
Yes. Also, one point to be added, there's one sloka in Bhagavad Gita. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha mai arpita mano buddhir mamai vaishyasya asamsaya. Means here Lord is saying that as he's saying, he's recommending in the Bhagavad Gita entire book, like, even though he's instructing so many times, but he's saying, get up and fight, get up and fight. Here again he's telling that you work for me. Then again, here also he says, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu, you do your duty. Mam anusmara yudhyacha, and also remember, keep a remember me at the same time. My arpita manobuddhir, in this way, if you my arpita means if you over, like if you dedicate and if you always think of me at the same time carrying out your duties. Mamai Vaishyasya Ashamsaya. With this thing, you will be able to attain me without any doubt. That's what Asamshaya. There is no doubt. He gives this confirmation.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes. Now you mentioned a word called Yukta Vairagya. Now I want to know what is the difference between Yukta Vairagya and Falgu Vairagya?
No, I don't know, Prabhu.
Do you know what is Falgu Vairagya? Heard?
No, I have heard it. I don't remember the meaning right now. I've actually read it. But...
Anyone from your team? Please raise your digital hands.
Hare Krishna, as I can see, Pradosh Prabhuji is repeatedly posting reminders, so it's a request for all to please fill the form. Yes, Tara Ji.
Prabhuji, Falku Vairagya means when we superficially renounce, means it's not that we have renounced everything, but only when we give up or it is superficially.
And what is Yukta Vairagya? Okay. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Tara Mataji, you can try. You are almost near the same. You can try. Hare Krishna.
If not, then we can put this question will go to the team leader. Yes.
Is it that when we are directly, like as a disciple is directly under the Guru and we are following it and we renounce, is that Yukta Vairagya? I mean,
no, that I think that you are like, I think
perfectly doing it, is it? When we do it with perfection and
you are telling it, but just some words you are saying. Yeah. Okay, Ashwin Prabhu, you may try.
One that is done in the devotional service of the Lord Krishna.
And what about Falgu Vairagya?
That is for the one.
If you are not sure, then no problem.
Pretending. Falgu is something like pretending.
Yes, you could say that.
Because Falgu, in the meaning, it is a river. It looks deep, but when you actually put your hand, you can feel the sand. So the water is passing between your fingers. So what we have learned in Bhagavad Gita is these sadhus, they pretend that they are really in devotion, but they are not. So that is called Falgu.
Yes. So see, the basic difference between Yukta Vairagya and Falgu Vairagya is, in Yukta Vairagya, you are like not, you are renouncing, that is okay, but you are even engaging yourself in devotional service. That is called Yukta Vairagya. That is true renunciation. While Falgu Vairagya means you are completely renounced. You are not even doing any kind of work, and you are renouncing all the things like which is even related to the Supreme Lord and or devotional service. While in that you are only renunciating the material things. That's what different. That is what the basic difference is.
Prabhuji, if it has come, then we can talk about that Markata Vairagya also. The Falgu Vairagya is also known as
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, okay. I was like, no, this new Vairagya came.
Markata Vairagya, monkey renunciation.
Okay, I know.
Yes, it is known as.
I listened from, I think so, once in NOD class maybe.
Yes. Now, what is the true meaning of renunciation? Ashwin Prabhuji, sorry, not right now. Still we have Tara Devi Mataji's hand raised. Oh, okay, the word. Prabhuji, Chandrasekhar Prabhuji, you are speaking something? Because we are not able to hear you. If you are...
No,
Okay.
so sorry. I thought you asked Tara Mataji, so I didn't.
No, no problem. No, because her hand was raised, but now she just lowered. Okay, Ashwin Prabhuji, goes to you.
Renunciation is quitting.
Yeah.
One is that we do not.
See, okay, see here, renunciation in the sense what I'm asking is that it said that renunciation means you are like removing the material attachments from him. So it's see, artificially, yeah, we can say that those who like in a way you can say renunciation means like those who are like even completely dedicated their lives to Krishna consciousness, they have also done renunciation. But even grihasthas can be like sannyasis, because the main thing of renunciation is that you are removing the material attachment. So if we do it without any kind of attachment, or if we do it without any kind of entanglement, we are doing it that's why in one of the quotes I think I saw, it was mentioned that even grihasthas can means not in artificially and out externally they may appear as grihasthas, but they can also be sannyasis, means they are also like sannyasis if they don't have any kind of attachment or anything. Okay, that's all for the question answer session.
Yes, Prabhuji. In fact, in 18th chapter, I think the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself has told about the renunciation, that is the giving up the results of activities in a single line, he has mentioned.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, some people have even said true renunciation is when we understand nothing is mine. Yes, that's one point which we can.
Correct.
Because what will we renounce? Everything is God's asset, God's thing. The people who say, I leave everything, I don't want anything, because there is nothing yours. What is yours? So use everything for the Lord's pleasure. Prabhuji, you can stop the recording, I guess.
Yes, no, I wanted this both presentations to be covered. That's why I didn't stop. Okay, but now I'll. Okay, then Hare Krishna.